Gel, are you afraid of it? I was when I first started.
So was I.
Oh my gosh, I was so scared of it. I wish I had known these few things. I bet you have a few things too.
Yes.
I know you're gonna cover it all, but can you help someone out that's a beginner who's kind of looking in to get into gel? What should they know?
Yes, I would love to. I would love to help.
Cool. If you're interested in gel, watch this video.
So I'm going to go over some of the most important tricks doing hard gel that I wish I knew when I first started doing gel. So let's get started. I decided I was going to go over prep. So that's very important for your application in gel as well. So you're always going to start with pushing back your client's cuticle. That allows you to see any protein growth, any cuticle that remains there. Usually it turns a little white where there's a lot there, and you'll know where to prep better. Then I'm going to go into my arbor band. It's a medium arbor band. You can go anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 RPMs. I like 5 because I really don't put any pressure. I just make contact with the finger, but 1 to 5 works, whatever you're comfortable with. So what I'm going to do is do an overhand grip, come in through here and do baby circles around the cuticle. Now, let me explain to you why I do baby circles. What I mean by that is I make contact come up, contact come up, contact come up. If you tear through it like this, it's gonna do 2 things. It's gonna be uncomfortable for your hand, and you're gonna wanna come up like this to do a ring of fire, and it's gonna burn your client most likely. So if you kind of come up around, I find you could tuck it up against the cuticle to where it's cleaning it very, very well. So that's super important. Your prep is super important with actually any application of gel, even acrylic, but with gel, you need to make sure you get everything off. So baby circles around the cuticle, and then what I'm going to do is tickle through the rest of her natural nail. Now this one's going to be an overlay, okay? This one I'm going to do an extension. So let's go ahead and prep this one. Baby circles around the cuticle area, and then tickle kind of at an angle throughout the entire nail. The next thing I'm going to do is dust off my client's nails. Now on Sally, I'll dust it off a little better. Comes off easier on a person. And then I'm gonna go into swipe. What swipe does is it changes the pH balance in her nail and wipes off any debris or any oil that may be remaining on there. So what I'm going to do is come in and swipe towards me. If you notice, I'm swiping towards me, not like this. I know I've covered this before, but it's so important because sometimes we just get in a groove of doing this. What that does is leave oil and debris, mainly debris. Your file that your dust of when you prepped will be right here in your sidewall. So if you come this way, what it does is it extracts it out of your cuticles and your sidewalls all at once. Wait till your protein bond dries. If you do not wait till it dries, what happens is it could cancel out your protein bond, because swipe also will take off like your sticky layer of gel. It's a dehydrator for your prep of gel. So you want to make sure it's completely dry so it doesn't cancel out your protein bond. Very important tip. Okay, so from here what I'm going to do is protein bond the entire nail. And protein bond your next one. Go through all 10 and then come back and add your second coat of protein bond. That is super important as well. 2 coats always. It's added insurance. So now what I'm doing is I'm kind of simplifying it. We have a lot of synergy gels. I'm teaching you the most important basics so you could build a gel nail and be successful from there. When you start encapsulating and using like clear colors to encapsulate glitter, I would start with this first, what I'm showing you, and then graduate to the next. So I picked concealer pink or peach. I'm not sure which one I'm going to use, but let me show you the colors. This is concealer pink, and this is concealer peach. I actually have peach on right now. I wear them both. I think they look good pretty much on everybody. And base gel. So I'm gonna start and build my whole nail with these, okay? I'll probably use I use pink a lot, so why don't we go peach this time? It's more of a nude natural color. So really the only products you need are these two right here. Concealer, peach, and base to build a successful nail. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm gonna start with base. I'm going to go do my overlay first and then I'll do my extension second. I wanna show you a really cool tip that I wish I would have known when I first started doing gel. How do you pick up your base? It's very important for your brush to be flat like this. See, when I turn it to the side, it's pinched. Our brushes are actually pinched, and this is the flat part. So what I want is to actually pick it up on one of the flat part sides. I don't want to pick it up on the side of it where it's bent because it won't come off my brush or flow right. So as you can see, what I'm going to do is use the flat part, and I'm going to make a movement like this. I'm going to kind of come in at an angle, come up, circle it, and flip it to the side, okay? I wanted to show you the movement before I did it because it happens kind of fast. So what I'm going to do is take my flat side, bring it in at an angle, bring it up, wipe it off on the side, and as you can see, it's only on one side of your brush, okay? So what I'm going to do is come right here, and I'm going to put pressure on my gel. So what this is doing is it's weaving it into the natural nail. You don't want to float it on there. You want to kind of like you're polishing with a little bit of pressure. So if you're doing a full set, you would do that to all 5. She would go under the light, and then you would start on your other hand. So you're always in motion. Okay, so once it comes out, you're ready for your next application. Now let me stress something. This has a sticky residue on it. It is cured. It's totally cured. The thing is a lot of people swipe here or you swipe to take off the tacky layer and add. That is a huge mistake. You have to keep your sticky layer so every layer sticks on top of it. So I'm gonna choose Concealer Peach here. So I'm gonna go over some brush techniques. I don't wanna just use peach. I wanna break it down and show you how I maneuver my brush, how I pick it up, the really detailed things that makes your job easier while learning gel. So again, the same way I showed you with base, always on your flat sides, never on your side, never sideways, always on one of the flat sides. It doesn't matter which side you choose, but it has to be on the flat side. Okay, you're gonna come in at an angle, come up, and it's all on one side. Okay. I'm going to get my product in front of my brush, and how I do it, if you could see it from the side, I kind of put it forward. Okay, once it's close to my cuticle, I'm going to do circle motions and pivot my brush to the left and then carry it to the other side. So my brush, if you look at my brush movement, it's like this and like this. Okay, once you're here, you're gonna bring your product down. Light touch. Now I'm gonna pivot it the same way, but going downward with it. So see how I'm always in contact. When I first started, I would always break my contact and it would be really hard to get started again. So try to stay in contact, really light pressure. The angles of your brush is everything. It's the pressure, the angle of your brush. So it's a very, very light touch. When I first started, I was super heavy-handed and it did not look like this right away. So let's say you got a little on the skin. You make sure you wipe it before, it's a little piece of glitter. Make sure you wipe it before you cure her nail. But you also could see sometimes, see how it's, we'll sit here and look at it a second. See how it starts to move? It's starting to come more on this side, more on this side. So this is a huge tip for beginners too, because a lot of times you'll go to the next one. And while you're working on the next one, this one's moving on you. So what I would do is go ahead and fix this real quick and not work at 2 at once. I would make sure it's exactly where I wanted it, just like this. Doesn't have to look perfect, it just has to be covering the whole nail. So I would go under the light for at least 30 seconds or however long it takes me to do the one on the other hand. Now, this is a huge tip to give you because I got to where I could apply it well, but by the time I was on the second or third nail, my first nail was all on my cuticle. It doesn't mean that you're not fast if you do one at a time and go under the light. What it's doing is actually saving you time and helping you because you have nothing to clean up. So that's a huge technique. and a huge tip to have, to know that yes, you can go in a light after every nail, or sometimes you can get away with 3. You just have to, it's our job to pay attention to the nail next to it if we haven't cured it, to see if it's moving. If it starts to move, have them go under the light. So from here, what I'll do is I'll do my extension. So this could be even like in a set, because sometimes you have all overlay and she has 1 broken nail. So this is exactly how you would do it. Okay, let's form her nail. Pre-pinch it. Let's go ahead and put her form on. So what I'm going to do is start with my concealer peach. The reason why I'm starting with my concealer peach on my free edge is I'm building a nude nail, okay? Sometimes you see videos we do clear first. If you use clear for your extension and then you build a pink or peach, sometimes their nails, you don't need a product and you'll see discoloration, not really discoloration, but like clear into your cover color. If you don't want to see like clearance spots and it look lighter on the tip, then always start with your concealer of choice on your free edge, okay? So let's come in here. Let's start on our free edge. So I'm gonna build my extension. I'm gonna start right in the middle. I get it in front of my brush just like I do for my overlay. Then I'm going to move it over to the left and see how the angle of my brush, I'm gonna pivot it straight up and come straight down. Okay, then I'm going to change my movement again. Let's come on this side, get your product in front of your brush. Light, and as you can see, I'm straight here, and as I go here, and look at my fingers if you can, scoot up a little more. So I kind of roll it in my fingers, I roll it, okay? So when I roll it to this side, it's easier to tuck up on your sidewall here, and then I bring it straight down with a light touch. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to wipe off my excess here. And when I wipe off my excess, this is such a good tip. See how thin my corner is now? So what I'm going to do is come right here and bring it straight, and come right here and bring it straight. So my sides are really straight before I cure it, okay? Now I'm going to flash set it for 30 seconds. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to take my base. Okay, so really, again, I'm only working with 2 products for this whole nail, for this whole system. So what I'm doing is I'm going to get my base, again on one side, okay? I like to start in the middle so it'll connect my free edge and then work my way up to my cuticle area. Then that way it doesn't really flood your cuticle area. You're able to get it all over her natural nail and then connect the free edge here. So You'll actually be able to do this if you're building a full set like this on all 5 and then go under the light. Since I'm just working on one, I'll put her under for 30 seconds or however long it takes you to do the other hand. You have to keep that in your head. You're always in motion, always in motion. That helps you with timing and keeping on schedule. There's another tip I wanted to show you is, as you could see my little marks that I wiped on my tile, and this is just like a tile you would put in a shower or on a floor. It's just a tile to extract all my gel off my brush. So a lot of times when I have it on there, I'll wipe it back and forth like this. So I wanted you to see what I'm using and what I'm doing to get my brush clean like this for my next step, okay? So what I'm gonna do now is build all my body on top of this nail. So I'm gonna take off my form. Honestly, that shouldn't bother you. Sometimes you have those when you build it. When you're first starting, I usually leave it just because I know that it'll file off easy, but I'm gonna show you a little tip. Sometimes it's hard to have a visual of where your gel should go, so you could come in and take these off if you want to. If you think it's too high or too low, you could nip it. So then that way it looks like a shape nail, kind of like you wanna do. So that's a cool tip as well. Then what I'm going to do is build my body now. So I'm gonna do the same thing I did for my overlay, because I'm gonna overlay from cuticle to free edge, okay? So I built my extension as long as the other one, and now I'm going to show you how I pick up my product again. I come in, circle it off, put the gel in front of your brush, and then I'll just talk as I go. Baby circles to the left, baby circles to the right. So what I did is I got it all around the perimeter, right? Then what I'm gonna do is a front to back with the tip of my brush, and then I'm going to pivot my brush. If you do not pivot your brush, you're not gonna connect it on the sides. You're gonna have a little margin there. So let me not do it once. See all that negative space right there? Okay, so watch when I come back here and I pivot my brush and I come back. It got all the way to the corner, okay? Just wanted to show you that real quick. I think I need a little more gel. So what I'm gonna do is come in here, just get a little bit more. Start right here and connect it with my gel. Now that's huge, because before I used to start right where the gel ended. If you start right where it is and connect it again, then you can't see where you stopped and started. Really light touch all the way through, all the way through. When I showed you that corner, I kind of made a little bit, not really a big mess, but it's not a big deal because this could happen. But what's important is that you make sure it's not on their skin before you cure it. So now I'm gonna cure it for 1 full minute so both of them get full cure time. After they've cured for 1 full minute, you come in with Swipe, and Swipe will take off your sticky residue on top of your nail. Now one thing, when I started doing gel, because it was sticky, I thought it wasn't cured all the way, so I kept curing it and curing it. And I literally called Young Nails and said, my gel is not curing. So just know that Synergy gel or pure gel is always gonna cure with the sticky residue on top. So what I'm gonna do is wipe this off, and then there's no more left. Now I wanna go over filing with you. Electric filing these and filing is really different than acrylic because it's a really fine, soft product. So your pressure is everything, okay? So I'll explain what I'm doing while I'm doing it to break it down the best I can. So the first thing I'll do when I first started was I wanted to see my sidewalls straight. So again, you want to line up your sides kind of straight. So you'll come in right here. What this will do is give you a guide for your nail. Okay, so you can see how it's more straight now. Usually your overlay is pretty good, but let's say it's over a little. Let's come in and I'll compare it to my overlay. And they look pretty straight, right? So what I'm going to do is go into my coarse safety bit, and I'm gonna use it on 12,000 RPMs. Okay, what I'm going to do is actually just make contact with it. I'm not gonna put any pressure at all first, just to see how much it's going to do. Because if you're used to using acrylic, you have a little bit more pressure than you should when you use gel. Because what will happen is it'll take off too much and I'll have to reapply it. So this is no pressure, just contact. Okay, I'm gonna get my dust extractor real quick because I would not do gel without my dust extractor. So let's go ahead and get that. And the reason being is it's really fine. Acrylic is like a little thicker pieces when you're electric violet, and it really doesn't fly so much in your face. This is very fine and comes up, and I feel like you're breathing it up a lot easier than you are the acrylic dust. So let's start this. Now this is no pressure. Let's do it again. This is just contact. See how much it's already shaping it? Whereas if you did that with an acrylic nail, it probably wouldn't do anything. You would need slight pressure. So contact with slight pressure gets you there faster, right? So you're only gonna put very, very slight pressure and mainly contact in some areas. So what I'm doing is I'm electric filing in my apex from my side. So what you're seeing right here is what I'm looking at, okay? So what I'm doing is making sure it's really good around my cuticle area and through zone 3 here. Let me get that out. Zone 3 here, I'll make it thinner. So once you like the way it's shaped, then you're left with this, okay? You're never gonna file looking at it straight down like this. It's gonna come out too flat and you're gonna file off too much. You're gonna look at it at this view. Let me show you through this camera right here. You're never going to file straight like this, okay? I want you to look at your nail like this. As you could see when you look at it like this, you could see it's a little flatter here and it's thicker on your sides. What you're going to do is bring in your sides to meet your middle. So if you break it in zone 1, 2, and 3, and your nail's zone 1, 2, and 3, you're going to connect your zones. So you'll connect zone 3 right here and bring it all the way through and bring it up to about your middle. And then you're going to come here with zone 1 and bring it up to the middle. So let me do it where I could see it. So I'm looking down the barrel. I'm using zone 1. And I'm blending this in up to zone 2. Okay. So now I'm going to go into zone 3. Blend everything in. Then I'll look at it this way and make sure everything's blended in from my cuticle area. And pretty much done. So now let's go to our extension. What I'm going to do is kind of bring it in a little more because I'm looking at my overlay and her nail's not quite as wide. So I'll bring it in a tad bit. So I'm just going up with zone 1 on my sides, okay? So what I'm going to do from here is look at it from the side again, okay? What I'm going to do is go ahead and go around my cuticle area and then focus on my arch. I usually like to go zone 1 to zone 2. Then I like to go to zone 3 because it's a little thicker with my application on the free edge sometimes, up into 2. So you could start to see it have its nice shape, right? Where it's your apex right here. Okay, once you like the way it looks, like this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it a little better around my cuticle area. And now I'm going to look down the barrel again, just like I showed you on the other nail. Now, if you look at my positioning, let me go this way so you could kind of see it. When I'm going to get here, I anchor my finger right here and come straight up and kind of tag it and move forward. If you're anchoring here, it's too hard to get to where you need to be. Anchoring is your most important thing, but it doesn't matter where your finger's at, it just has to be anchored somewhere. So when I was filing sideways, it was anchored here, right? Then I moved to here and look down the barrel, and then look at what I do when I go to the other side. Look at my pinky, I bring it in, okay? So that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. These angles are so important. Again, right here, all I'm doing is contact. I'm putting zero pressure with this bit, okay? That's why I love this bit when I do gel. It does all the work for me. Okay, let's look at our neighbor. It needs to be a little shorter, so I can show you another great tip. To shorten it, kind of go in through zone 2 and bring it straight across. Thin it out. There, they look alike now. Bring in my sides a little more. Now I'm going to go into my 150 file. So I finished electric filing, and as you can see, they look pretty good, but you always want to come in with your 150 file. Your 150 file is the same as your electric file, basically. You're not going to put as much pressure as you would as if you were filing an acrylic nail. You're just going to make contact and just move the movement you want to move to refine and shape your nail how you want it to look. So what you do is you make sure your sides are straight. If I swivel, I like to come up underneath like this. Now I'm going to start filing on my free edge first. So I hold my file like this, so I have a lot of room through here to file, okay? So all this room right here to file. I'm just going through the movement with it having contact on the nail. I am not putting pressure on it. If I put a lot of pressure, I'm going to file way too much. The only time I put pressure, if I'm looking down the barrel and I see a thicker spot, I might add a little pressure and I watch it come down. So when I'm filing, I'm not looking at my file. I'm actually, when I go through it, I'm looking at my nail to make sure it's getting all blended in well. So I'll start here. Kind of blending in everything through here. I'm gonna look at it through the free edge. Put a little more pressure right here. So now I got my free edge really tight. You see that? Okay. So from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to blend in all my sides. You could start at the cuticle area and go all the way down to the free edge. or you could come up with it this way. Whatever way you're more comfortable, they're both correct. Now all I'm doing is making contact, and you could see how much it's blending in. I'm not like putting any strength into my filing movements at all. So I'm just gonna blend everything in here. Look at it from the side, make sure my sides are straight, make sure my sides are straight, and on to the next one. Now this one was our extension, same thing. File your sides, make sure they're really straight. I like a school nail, so I'm gonna come up underneath and come up. What this does is kind of make it look really soft there. Now, let me show you my free edge before I file. Let me show you compared to this one. There's a little sliver there, not a big deal. I just want you to see the thickness. So I ended up making it that thin on the free edge. Now, a lot of people think if you make it that thin on the free edge that the nail will break. It will not break. You're able to pick up your credit card, change, a piece of paper if it falls on the ground, anything. And your strength is right here. You have to remember it's in your apex, okay? So I like mine the thinnest you could get them where they'll perform well for an artificial nail. Okay, so here what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna repeat what I did on the other one, and I'm blending in the whole free edge. I'm gonna look at it here. It's a little thicker. I'll put a little bit of pressure on my free edge. Now let me show you it. Can you see it? Right here, how thin it is compared to what it was before. So that's important right there too. And the pressure I'm doing, again, I'm blending everything in. I'm just making contact. I am not putting pressure on my file. I'm just maneuvering it how I want it to go. I think that's why I fell in love with gel so much once I really learned it, is I don't feel like I'm really working hard. I'm just guiding everything to take the product down where I need it to come down. It's very easy to file. So what I'm gonna do from here is look at client profile. So in some past videos, they've asked me, you know, what do you mean by crooked? It really doesn't look crooked. Could you add more product? It's not crooked to where I need to add more product. It's just when we file with our clients facing us, they look straight to us the way we hold them. But when their hands like this, it looks different to them. So when we put it here, we could see actually what I need to fix. I need to hold here, bring this side in a little more. It's a little bit wider on this side than here to match this one. And when you look at the free edge, it's ever so slight, but it's a little higher on this side, a little bit higher on this side. So that's what I want to perfect when I'm looking at it this way. So I will bring it right here, and I will start making them look alike right now. Now everybody favors a side. I'm right-handed, so I feel like I'm usually more aggressive on that side. Blend everything in. Let's compare it. Let's come right here. Now I need to blend everything in again. Now this again is not really pressure, it's just contact and moving it. Now when you start adding this to your service and looking at your clients from this view when you're done filing, their nails are gonna come out so nice, looking like they're more natural on their nails than they've ever had. I know this is a different position to put a client's nail. And actually my clients have commented before, like I've never had a nail tech look at my nails from this view, but I've also never had my nails look all exactly alike and shaped like my natural nail is. So I would recommend doing this for sure. So let me show you in the camera. Tag a little spot there. I'm super picky. So as you can see, they look more uniform now. Okay. Let me dust off her whole hand. I've also got comments when they're like, I've done that, but when I bring them back this way, they look crooked to me. They sometimes do, but when they look at it, they need to look straight to them, okay? It's how their hands naturally fall, okay? So don't file again once you're in this position. So once you dust this off, get rid of your dusty towel. And I'm gonna go into swipe. So what Swipe's gonna do is clean everything off I just did, all the debris, everything from there. And I'm gonna go into my top coat of choice. However, Synergy does have a top coat, and it's actually an amazing top coat. It's called Gloss. It is stain resistant as well. It does not stain. If you want to stay with the whole system, it comes with the top coat as well. So here's Gloss. Gloss is our top coat. You could use whatever top coat you want. You could use stain resistant, you could use finish at that point. I just kind of wanted to show you Gloss. It's a little bit of a thicker of a top coat, so let's say you filed too much. In this case I didn't, but let's just say you did. You could put it on a little thicker, it'll self-level, and it looks perfect. It'll add strength. It's a really cool top coat. I also use it for art. There's a lot of stuff I use Gloss for, but it's really cool to know that the system does have a top coat that comes with it. So I would still protein bond the entire nail. Then what I would do is pick up my gel the same way. Let me show you. Come in here, you pick it up the same way you picked up all your other gel, okay? So you'll come right here. If you have some left, put it on your neighbor. It's such a pretty top coat. I really like Gloss. Let me get this. So if you have too much, go ahead and wipe it. And then smooth it out. Then come into your next one. It's a little bit. I got some from the neighbor because there was plenty there. So a lot of times you could do 2 nails at once. You actually could do all 5, because if these I needed to do, I would go in, wipe on both, and use it on both of them. Let's cure this for 1 minute. So once she cures, I'll take my swipe, wipe off my sticky residue. And again, you cannot forget to put rose oil on. This is the best stuff. I retell it to my clients. What it does is they come back with really nice cuticles at the end. When they come in for their fill, they have no hangnails, their cuticles look amazing, their nails look like they just got them done but grown out. It's a really great marketing, or retailing I should say, not marketing, retail thing to sell, and it helps you in the long run because the rebalancer feels very easy at that point. My clients get so used to it that they're like, I didn't use it this week, I could totally tell. So they really see the difference of what it does. So that is a successful basics and most important things I could share with you, and tips I could share for building a successful gel nail. I wish I would have known all these tips myself at the beginning. Sometimes it's hard just to retain them, but now you have a video to refer to, so have fun.
Hey guys, what's going on? We hope you love our videos. Let us know in the comments below what you want to see next. To see more, head over here. To subscribe to our channel, head over here.